Hi, my name is Olivia from Wilkinson Cameras, and today I'm going to give you a full review on the new-ish Sony A6700, the latest APS-C sensor camera from Sony. It's an enthusiast level camera with a ton of impressive stills and video features all packed into a small and lightweight body. I paired it with the new FE7200 f4G OSS Mark II lens. This will be a great combo for wildlife photographers. I've got a separate video on this lens coming soon, so please keep an eye out for that. I've actually had the camera and the lens for a few weeks now, which means I've got lots of samples for you, including some from my recent holiday in Greece. Usually when we do a review, I only have the camera or lens for a couple of days, so it's actually been quite nice to really use it in a real world setting, and it means I can give you a proper opinion on it as well. The A6700 is around £1,500, so let's see what it has to offer. A lot of people have been waiting for the A6700, or at least a new A6000 series camera, and here we have it. From the get-go, it has a very similar feel to the A6600, as you can imagine, a slightly different button layout, and now a fully articulating LCD screen, which is great for video shooters. This is a great camera for ambitious content creators and aspiring filmmakers, but it's also a very good stills camera and will appeal to wildlife photographers who want small, lightweight kit and the advantage of the crop factor for this type of photography. Like I mentioned earlier, I took the camera to Greece and it was super lightweight and easy to travel with, as well as it being really discreet, which is nice when in populated areas. The A6700 is an APS-C camera, which means the sensor is cropped, giving you a 1.5 times crop in your field of view. I've previously filmed a video which covers crop sensors and crop factors, so if you want to check that out, then I'll leave a link in the top corner and in the description box below. Back to the sensor. It's an improvement on the sensor found in the previous model, a backside illuminated XMOR CMOS 26 megapixel sensor, which gives you great resolution in images and video, extremely good sensitivity and impressive dynamic range. This is the same sensor as seen in Sony's FX30 camera, so we know low light capabilities are going to be good. It also has the latest Sony Bionz XR processor, which is a great improvement on previous models, bringing improved image quality and speeds. This is combined with a dedicated processor to allow the advanced AI autofocus modes. This massive step up in speed brings with it a lot new technologies that we've seen in full frame models, including 10-bit video, lossless RAW files and more. The processor combines with a large buffer to boost write speeds to memory cards, which supports 11 frames per second. This 11 frames per second is in either electronic or mechanical shutter. For exposure, the camera can shoot ISO 100 to 32,000 with an expandable ISO of 50 to 102,400. I try to keep my ISO as low as possible to maintain image quality, more so in video. On occasions where I had to increase the ISO, there wasn't any crazy noise considering the fact I'm shooting on an APS-C camera, so that was great. The A6700 has a 5-axis in-body image stabilization for stills and video. This gives up to 5 stops of stabilization, which is noticeably less than the 7 stops provided in competing cameras such as the Fujifilm X-S20 and the Canon EOS R7. The A6700 features active IS for video shooting. When I was in Greece, I had limited kit, so I was mainly shooting or filming handheld with active IS on. I found no issues with any jerks or warping in the footage and found it all relatively sturdy. It's worth bearing in mind that the active mode does crop the video slightly, so you'll want to account for this when framing. Also, I'm shooting in front of a big window with natural light, so please bear that in mind because the exposure is going to be changing throughout this video. So anyway, I haven't specifically tested the IBIS, but as you can see in the footage, it's very smooth, especially for handheld recording. Paired with the OS-S in the 70-200 lens, added even more stability to the footage. So if you have a compatible lens with OS-S, then that's something to consider for more stabilization. The A6000 range is already very compact and lightweight, same with the A6700, weighing in at 493 grams, making it a super discreet and low-key camera. There's a new grip design, providing more comfortable hold of the camera. For me, the grip was fine, but I can imagine when paired with a larger lens, then that could become quite unbalanced for most people. The A6700 is built on a magnesium alloy chassis and designed to be robust yet lightweight. It certainly felt solid despite its lightweight and compact size. It's also weather and dust sealed, so I know if I get caught in the rain, which most likely we're going to in the northwest of England, there shouldn't be any issues. It's not weatherproof, but weather resistant, so bear that in mind. It features a large 3.0 type 1.03 million dot touch panel LCD monitor. Great for videographers, content creators and photographers photographing at a low angle. I love a very angled screen for filming, especially vertical video, because it makes it so much easier to compose compared to a tilt screen, which is just a nightmare for vertical filming. The LCD has touch functions, allowing you to change settings and enter your function menu via touch, or FN. There's a 2.36 million XGA OLED electronic viewfinder with a 1.07x magnification, giving you a clear image. It's twice the brightness of the A6600 and noticeably better. The button layout is very similar to the A6600 with a few minor changes. There's a stills moving S&Q switch under the mode dial, a red record button instead of the C1 button on the A6600, and where the record button would be on the side of the A6600 is now a custom button. On the front of the camera below the shutter button, there is a customizable front dial, which can be set to your workflow, so whether you prefer to set it to aperture or exposure compensation, it's your choice. On the side, there's a built-in headphone and 3.5mm mic jack for audio, USB power delivery port for fast in-camera battery charging, single SD card slot that supports UHS 1 and 2 cards for faster buffering speeds, and a micro HDMI for connectivity. What's missing is an autofocus joystick. I know this wasn't present on previous models, but it's something that I'd like to see and something a lot of wildlife photographers would preferably like to have. The A6700 does have the latest Sony menu system and layout. I found this a lot nicer and more intuitive to use than the old Sony menu system, and I think both existing and new Sony users will enjoy it as well. Time for the most impressive feature, the AI processing technology. This enhances the performance of the technology abilities, including accurate recognition, more so for a wider range of subjects, enhances frame capabilities and real-time tracking. The A6700 uses subject form data to recognise movement, so it's essentially learnt human forms and postures, making it easier to lock onto and track a moving subject. As always, we have done an AF test, and you can see that the tracking follows Ella within the frame, predicting her next move. When her eyes are no longer visible, the camera will recognise the head, whilst still predicting where her eyes will land. You can see the box is glued to her eye, and whilst I'm focusing on composing and directing the model, or Ella, I can trust that the camera will produce sharp images. To make the shot a bit more creative, I actually used a bit of grass in front of the lens to add some foreground depth, and even when the grass crossed the centre of the lens, the focus was still tack sharp. I mentioned earlier there's a wider subject recognition, now recognising humans, birds, insects, cars, trains and aeroplanes. And I actually managed to capture a picture of an aeroplane as well. The camera's autofocus system features 759 phase detection points, covering an impressive 93% of image area. I haven't personally tested this, but apparently this camera can shoot down to minus 3.0 EV in AFS, which is pretty impressive and very useful if you do find yourself in low light scenarios. The autofocus on this model is very impressive and certainly the level I've come to expect from Sony cameras. The A6700 captures 4K at up to 60p or 50p for PAL users. This is using Sony's 6K oversampling technology, so the quality is pristine. Even at higher frame rates, I tend to shoot most things in 60 or 50 frames per second, so I have the ability to slow it down on a 25 or 30p timeline in post. The camera also supports high quality XAVC-SI, all intra, and XAVC-HS formats with 10-bit 42 colour sampling. Moving on to high frame rates, this camera also shoots up to 4K 120 or 100p for PAL with 10-bit colour, which, like I mentioned earlier, gives you a lot of creative possibilities in post-production for super slow motion. It's worth noting that there's no other crop sensor models around this price range offering 4K 120, but this does come with a caveat. It's at 1.58 times crop. S&Q mode, which stands for slow and quick, also enables recording of slow or quick motion sequences in camera from the offset, as you would have guessed. For those that want more dynamic range in their shadows and highlights, then there is S-Log3, giving you up to 14 plus stops of latitude. I shoot most of my footage in S-Log3 because I absolutely love the colours and how easy it is to save any over or underexposed shadows or highlights. As well as S-Log3, the A6700 also has S-Cinetone, which incorporates the same colour science as the highly regarded Cine Alta and Cineline, again producing really nice colours and natural skin tones. Same as the ZVE1, you can import LUT files. This is useful for videographers that already have a creative colour profile for their project and can now import the LUT directly into camera, eliminating post-production time and making initial composition and filming easier. Personally, I don't use this. I prefer to have the creative flexibility of the raw footage to edit on a computer, but if you had a dedicated style that you use in every video, I can really see the appeal. One of my favourite features found in some Sony cameras is the touch tracking function, which is possible through the new AI-based real-time tracking. Why? Because most of the time I'm filming, Alex is moving all around the frame, so with a simple tap on the LCD screen, as well as the face memory, the tracking does the focusing for me. When in Greece, I used this feature for moving boats, especially because I was focusing on composition and being as still as possible. Talking about stabilization, in movie mode, you can enable active stabilization, which measures camera shake and optically compensates for it, producing nice and smooth footage. But just remember, there is a minor crop here, so you'll need to account for this when framing. Speaking of framing, another feature brought down from the ZVE1 is the auto framing feature. This is really useful for vloggers or if you're a solo shooter like I do a lot of the time. I'll be honest, I haven't tried this. I like to have full creative control. I don't trust the camera to equal or better my own creative judgment. But I know this is the kind of feature Alex would love, so hopefully we'll be able to try this feature out soon in a separate video. The A6700 also has breathing compensation, which again has only been found in higher range full frame cameras, and the FX30 up until now. So it's a nice feature when paired with compatible lenses and works especially well when paired with the newer Sony lenses, which are designed to physically reduce focus breathing as well. When I was in Greece, I used my smartphone to connect to the camera to retrieve some images to share on social media, and it was so straightforward and simple. I used Sony's Creators app, which enables simple transfers that continue in the background even when your phone display sleeps or a different app is launched, which is perfect for me. Some apps were an absolute nightmare when it came to transferring images. You'd be waiting for ages and then your phone would switch off or get a notification and the transfer will have cancelled. So this is great. You can use the A6700 as a webcam with 4K resolution of the video features and advanced autofocus, which is great when you're a solo shooter. As always, there's also built-in Wi-Fi. At launch, the body only costs $1,449. The body with the 1650mm lens is $1,549, and the body with the 18 to 135mm lens is $1,799. So there are a few different kit options there. I think the price point reflects well on the new and updated features in the A6700. It puts it against models such as the Fujifilm X-S20 and EOS R7. There's some key differences between these models and each has their strengths and weaknesses. As a Sony user and a hybrid shooter, I definitely consider the A6700 if I wanted a smaller camera. It's intuitive to use, small and light, and really does have a lot of good features at this price point. I really enjoyed using this camera. It's a great travel option for me or any other creators. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you happy with what the A6700 has to offer? What cameras are you considering alongside this model? If you enjoyed this video, then please do give the video a like and comment any thoughts or questions. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have just hit 4K subscribers, so we're extremely grateful for this and all the support that we're getting, and hopefully we can grow that audience. Until next time, I will see you all soon.